So hi everybody. I'm here with Reza. We're both working on Azure App Service, and specifically Reza is one of the guys that helps us on the Java space. And I think we have like a ton of news around Java in general and JBoss specifically. So Reza, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what we're going to talk about, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. A lot of it actually is around, our enabling JBoss EAP on App Service. It's not entirely new. We've had it out for a little while. In terms of product maturity, I think it's there. The last remaining bits that we had been working on for a little while is actually making it a little bit cheaper. And there's various ways you can do that. And unfortunately, when you have something like JBoss EAP, which ultimately is jointly developed with Red Hat, you need to work with Red Hat as well to make sure we can make it as cost efficient for customers as possible. So, long story short, it took a little bit to get there. JBoss EAP isn't new, but there is a whole bunch of things that we're doing around JBoss EAP specifically. Not to say that we're not doing stuff on other parts of Java on App Service, which would be the SE and Tomcat part. We'll be doing some stuff there as well. But right now, for now, it's the focus is on what we're doing on JBoss EAP to make it as cost efficient as possible for customers to run.
And one of the things that we did is the license portability, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about what license portability is? Why do we care about it?
Sure. So it's not that part isn't GA quite yet, right? We're going to be doing GA very soon, and hopefully we'll come up with another announcement just like this. So I guess you can think of it as a bit of a behind the scenes look. So one of the things about JBoss EAP is that it's a licensed product, and often one of the key use cases for actually JBoss EAP and the entire use case that this is trying to address, which is all these sort of legacy, if you will, application servers. These are applications often that have been running on premise for quite a while. It's not too unusual. We see 10, 15-year-old applications that need to modernize and take advantage of PaaS in some way. So what happens is like these are not net new licenses, right? So these are product that deployments that have happened for some time, and often customers will have existing negotiated licenses, often very good license deals that they have with Red Hat. So by default, what we do is we do the easy thing, which is what we've been doing with JBoss for a little while, which is that the licensing and support is built in as a sort of pay-as-you-go fee, right? Just like we have sort of these incremental fees for everything, even in terms of infrastructure. It's just a built-in part of that. But that we're not going to be able to compete, with the type of deep discounts that customers already have with their existing JBoss EAP licenses. So you shouldn't need to, as a customer, you shouldn't need to rethink your licensing just because you're replatforming and modernizing and running on a PaaS platform now. So what we're looking to enable very, very soon, in fact, I almost would have hoped that I would have been able to say, hey, it's GA now, is basically apply those existing licenses onto the app service, JBoss API and app service, so that we basically zero out that part from, as far as we're concerned. We just build for the infrastructure from the app service side, and then the customer, continues their existing license deals and, deal with licensing as a separate concern with Red Hat. So that's what that's about. Not quite there yet, but yeah, hopefully we can GA that. I won't be able to demo that today, but I will be able to show you at least the rest of the stuff that we've done in action.
Right. And I think we're literally just waiting for the rollout to complete on the last final regions. And, that takes a little bit, but it's almost there. And then I think the other thing that we want to talk about is opening it up to more SKUs, right? So JBoss was limited to a certain number of SKUs. Now you can have it in other SKUs, including the free tier.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, best way to do that is let's hop onto the portal. So basically, let me hit create a resource real quick here and hit web app, and probably can't see my screen too well. So let me increase the size here a little bit. So let's pick Canada Central is not a good example. Not all the SKUs are available there. So let me pick USCs, for example, and let me also pick my runtime stack now. So in terms of JBoss AP, let's pick Java 17, and then let's pick JBoss AP 8 for example, which I'll talk about in a moment. That's also an important one that we recently added again with cost efficiency in mind. But let's pick JBoss EAP 8 for the moment. And then if you go down and now do a selection of plans, let me zoom out a little bit more, zoom in just a little bit more. So it used to be that you really only had one pricing choice. In fact, I need to go ahead and change the region once again. Let's pick.
I think you just need to go create new app service plan. You were using as an existing one.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, and uh,
Yeah, like give it a name, like create new, give it a name, and then that should give you the SKU picker at that point.
okay, and yeah, you're right about that. Okay, so it used to be that you only could either deploy it on the highest isolated SKU or on basically on the highest premium V3 SKU. And again, not all the options are showing up here, but basically now you can deploy it onto a whole range of other memory optimized SKUs in addition to all the isolated SKUs as well as all the premium SKUs. So what this means is you can really think about, okay, what is truly the capacity that I need for my application, and basically tailor it to exactly what you need, as opposed to needing to purchase unnecessarily higher SKU than that you really don't need and sort of is excess capacity. So yeah, that's one of the things we did for sure. And yeah, this is
I think the thing that deserves the call out, I think, is the fact that it's in the free SKU. So the free SKU, you're not gonna run a production workload there, but if you want to validate that, hey, I have this app, will it run before you even think about paying us? You can use the free SKU.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's its intent there. It's for people to kick the tires and see how their JBoss AP. Sometimes in a customer, honestly, people that have been running things like JBoss on premise for a long time, they even find it hard to believe that it can run on something as conceptually modern as a PaaS. So yeah, I think having the free SKU there, that is a way for us to basically help people see the thing in action before they make any kind of purchasing commitment. So absolutely, yeah.
Sweet. So what else, Wesley? What are we missing?
So, best thing is let me just walk you through the announcement real quick. So the announcement, I and Denver co-authored it. We did put in quite a bit of the business use case, even if you're sort of just a decision maker and aren't day to day all that plugged into your JBoss AP development. I think if you read this blog entry, you'll get an idea of what we're trying to do here. So let me show you this real quick. And by the way, very nice quote from Julia. She's very kind to supply us this code for this set of enhancements. So that this tells really how important this is, and how much we actually value the Red Hat relationship. As I said, a lot of this wouldn't be possible without Red Hat helping us with some of these things. So already talked about the license price reduction, or did we? No, I don't think we did. So what we did was we decreased the licensing price to 55 cents an hour. And basically what this does is it makes the price on par with, if you will, the ticket price, or rather the MRCP, sort of suggested retail price of JBoss EAP, wherever you may run it. If you want to run on Azure VMs or even on premise, generally it turns out to be this is the hourly rate. So it took a little bit of time. Initially we had this pricing a little bit incorrect, but now we're on par with wherever you want to deploy JBoss EAP, at least your average sort of retail price that you're going to get. So I think that was a very important change, and this is basically the pay-as-you-go plan, right? So if you don't have a existing JBoss EAP license, or you don't want to transfer it onto Azure for some reason, for example, you're just you prefer to do the billing through Microsoft, that would be another use case for pay-as-you-go. This is basically the pay-as-you-go where we reduce the price. So numerically, this is I think about 63% reduction. So really makes it a lot cheaper to get JBoss EAP up and running using Paygo. So that's one change. Already talked about the additional SKUs, right? So basically, I think pretty much JBoss EAP is available in more or less all of the SKUs that would be realistic for someone to use at this point. Talked about the free tier, of course, and we also have JBoss EAP 8. Now, let me show you also. Actually, I just showed you this in the portal. So as you can see, if you, for example, pick Java 17, you can either pick JBoss EAP 7 or you can pick JBoss EAP 8. Now, enabling JBoss 88 is actually pretty important. It's a big deal, and again, we have sort of cost efficiency in mind around this. So JBoss 88 was not released that long ago. It was released late last year, and we made the reason we're making a point of making this available right now as quickly as we can inside of App Service, in addition to JBoss AP 7, which I've had in some time, is because of the fact that for JBoss AP7, the ELS period, extended support license period, is going to kick on pretty soon, sometime later this year. JBoss AP7 is going to go into its ELS period. Now, what that means is literally the licensing and support prices during the ELS period is doubled. So we will, when ELS kicks in, even in terms of our pay as you go fee, that's going to have to double. Same thing for customers that are running JBoss EAP 7 on premise today or in VMs or what have you, right? So wherever you may be running JBoss EAP 7, that license price is going to increase soon. So if you don't want to pay those prices, or you want to minimize the time where you're unnecessarily maybe in the ELS period, you can upgrade to JBoss EAP 8, because guess what? JBoss EAP 8 is going to remain non-ELS for some period of time. And that's going to subject to that, roughly 40 or 50 cents an hour price, right? And same for us too. So we'll be charging significantly less. We're able to charge significantly less for you if you're running JBoss EAP 8 as opposed to running JBoss EAP 7. So the objective of making JBoss EAP 8 available now is, one, if you already have a JBoss EAP 7 deployment, you can begin kicking the tires there. And also, even if you have an on-premise deployment, this is a good time to evaluate whether you also move to app service while you're already going to be doing the upgrade for JBoss EAP 7 to 8. And by the way, for JBoss EAP 7 to 8, you're moving from Jakarta E8 or Java E8 to Jakarta E10, which means you're going to need to do some code changes anyway. This is a backward incompatible change. And so there's some change involved anyway. So it's a great time to re-platform and modernize your application while you're at it. And by the way, all of this is made much simpler by Red Hat Migration Toolkit. It has it's a static code analysis tool. If you're not familiar with it, it has pathways of analyzing, how your experience is going to look like going from JBoss EAP 7 to JBoss EAP 8 or any other this type of upgrade. And in fact, we have invested with Red Hat to create a specific path just for app service. So you can also run MTA to say, hey, I have a JBoss EAP application. I want to move to app service. What changes do you think I need to make? So that's yet another change. That's already available, already out there for people to use. And of course, we talked about the bring your own license or BYOL, which is coming very, very soon, right? As you say, literally, it's in deployment. It's going to be out there any day now.
Awesome. So we have a question from the audience, which is, what are the scenarios for using the new free tier that you would recommend? And free tier, keep in mind that it's a limited offer, right? So you get a small slice of memory, you get a small slice of CPU. So it's not something that you're gonna use for like a heavy workload. You want this to learn the platform, right? Like there's some app service specific stuff that you might need to learn, and you don't necessarily want to commit to paying us, a couple bucks a month for one of the other tiers. So it's a good learning gateway. It's also a way to validate that, hey, you have a JBoss app. Does it actually work? Throw it on the free tier. You can test it that way. That's like, we think of it as, here's how you can learn how to use the platform. So then you can go and, graduate to one of the higher tiers when you have like a real workload that you want to host on us. But the free tier is very flexible, right? It's not just for JBoss. You can bring whatever you want. We support .NET, Python, Node, whatever. And the free tier is perpetually free, right? Like the app service has had the free tier from, I think, literally when we betaed the service to now. So it's been over 10 years. And you get like we might need to double check this one, but I think you get like 10 apps per subscription that can run on the free tier indefinitely, right? As long as you're within the sandbox of the limits that we give you. Okay.
Yep. One little nuance there. So just so you're aware, and again, yeah, absolutely. The feature is basically for experimentation and adoption. It's if you're new to app service, new to trying to run JBoss EAP and app service, that's your vehicle. One little footnote, important footnote. If you are using the free tier on JBoss EAP, by the way, you're not going to get. It does not include a commercial support. So don't be called in red hat and saying, "Oh, I'm using app service free tier," or can you please support me? So you can do that if you're on a paid tier. So just that important footnote.
To be clear, the commercial support comes with your license, and you don't get a license when you're running on the free tier. I think that's the. Okay, so I think we have a lot that we talked about, so let's summarize. If you're using JBoss today on app service, you will see a price reduction in your bill without you having to do anything. You're welcome. If you have an existing license, we're enabling the mechanism that will let you port that license so you don't have to pay for your on-premise license and your Azure license. You can just use the same license. And what you see in your bill will be that you're paying for the app service portion, but the zero. So you won't be seeing that 55 or 0.055 cents an hour per CPU on your bill. That will be zeroed out if you're using the portable SKU. Then what will happen is you will also have the option to run it on additional SKUs. So it was originally limited to some of the premium SKUs. So now it's on all of the modern premium SKUs, including isolated and P0B3, which is the entry point or the lower price point of the premium SKUs that we recommend people. I think that's one of the minimum recommended SKUs for production workloads. So cheaper and more variety of options for you. That sums it up, right? And then I think behind
So the free tier, yeah, and JBoss API.
Yeah, and behind the scenes, we're working on getting the 8.1 of rolling out and on the platform, etc. So also, like, you want to make sure that you're on the latest versions because you don't want to be stuck in an older version and then doubling up your support costs, because like that's not even money that's coming to Microsoft, right? That's money that's going to Red Hat to support you on an old version. So best practice, always try to keep up with the latest, greatest.